about reorganizing the design of a typical top-down, management-led organization. This is a pretty radical model because it flips that organizational chart really upside down. When you look at an organizational chart, you have a leader at the top. Who's down here? It's that direct care staff. And yet they're the ones that we trust with our mothers and our fathers and our grandmothers and grandfathers. We've got to change that. So what we did is we actually put the elder on the chart. We made them the center. And around them, we have the direct care staff. They're there to protect, to nurture, and to sustain elders. Is that in a job description you've seen for direct care staff before? It should be. Because what happens when direct care staff are empowered to protect, nurture, and sustain, we find that elders have more choice, they have more autonomy, and they then feel much more inclined to direct their own lives. What time they want to get up, what time they want to go to bed, what they want to have for dinner, where they want to go today, what they want to do. I want to share with you a video it's from Rhode Island. This is one of our newest greenhouse adopters, and it really gives you an idea of what a greenhouse home looks like.
Welcome to the Greenhouse Homes at St. Elizabeth Home, a new and innovative model of nursing home care. These 4 greenhouse homes are each nursing homes for 12 individuals. St. Elizabeth Community is proud to open the first greenhouse homes in Rhode Island. Located on a cul-de-sac adjacent to St. Elizabeth Home, this intimate residential setting is unlike any nursing home in our state. Offering both privacy and autonomy for the residents, the model of care is a proven model which employs cross-trained certified nursing assistants and nurses. Let's take a look at one of the 4 greenhouse homes at St. Elizabeth Home. Upon entering the home, you come into the hearth room, a warm and inviting space for gathering, with a gas fireplace and a large wall-mounted TV. A sunny sitting area is off the hearth room. The den, adjacent to the hearth room, is an ideal place for reading, playing games, or visiting. Doors can be closed for privacy and quiet. The entire home has radiant floor heating which provides exceptional warmth and comfort. The heart of the home is the spacious kitchen and dining room. An open floor plan encourages community and fosters interaction. The kitchen is inviting and designed so residents can easily help in preparing meals or simply enjoy being in the kitchen. The dining room table is large enough so that all residents and staff can share meals together. And families are welcome to enjoy a meal with their loved one individually or with the community. Each private bedroom has been thoughtfully designed. A built-in locked medicine cabinet is located at the entrance. Rooms are fully furnished and have cable and Wi-Fi free of charge. Individual heating and air conditioning controls give residents the ability to adjust temperature for their personal comfort. A built-in ceiling track would allow for a resident to be lifted from bed to bathroom if needed. All rooms have private, accessible bathrooms with walk-in showers. A call system is in place in bedrooms and bathrooms so residents can alert caregivers. A master bathroom has a whirlpool soaking tub and adjustable hairdresser sink. The spacious room has a large mirror and heat lamps in the ceiling for extra warmth. A courtyard and screened porch complement the beautiful interior space. Residents are invited to participate in daily activities they enjoy. Laundry is done by the staff, but if a resident or family member prefer doing their laundry, they are welcome to do so. The greenhouse home concept of living empowers staff to support residents to live life to the fullest in a real home with privacy and community. Thank you for taking the tour of the greenhouse homes at St. Elizabeth Home. For more information,
I wanted to share that with you just so you had an idea of what it looks like. And that is a licensed nursing home. People who are at end of life. People who need a lot of care. It can happen. So, speaking about the difference of a greenhouse home, there's a lot of places that have tried to replicate this model, and they create small homes in small spaces. But people will often ask me, what's the difference about a greenhouse home? And I would say that it's the quality standards that are associated with a trademark that the greenhouse provides. We have a certification process so that when someone decides to build greenhouse homes, they're able to leverage the experience and the knowledge of what so many others have gone before and done. There are about 250 homes across the United States and about 56 organizations that have worked with us. Every time a greenhouse home is built, it gets better and better and better. Steve McAlilly will tell you in 2003 what he built, he wouldn't build again because he learned how to do it better. When you use the greenhouse project model, what you find is that you're able to build in slip-resistant change. What do I mean by that? When things get hard, you know what people do? They revert back to what they knew before. They slip back. And what we want is to really change the nature of what long-term care looks like. And when it gets hard, and it will get hard, when it gets hard, we don't go back to a traditional thinking process, but we work through it. We work through it together with other partners who are doing the same thing across the country, and I hope soon across the world. The greenhouse model is the most researched model in long-term care. For the last 15 years, we've been held under a microscope. Robert Wood Johnson Foundation has funded us to help look at this research. And what we have found is that residents and family are beyond satisfied. They have seen a quality of life improvement for the people that live there, the residents. There's improved quality of care, less pressure sores, less depression, more ambulation happening for longer periods of time, and families are very satisfied. In addition to that, we've looked at the model from a staffing perspective, and what we found is that when you change this model of care from that typical hierarchy, you can put more hours in the day into direct care staff. So there's a higher direct care time between the elder and the staff. There's also more engagement with elders. They're right there in that home. They're not down corridors at this end and at that end. You're in one space. And of course, the care outcomes have improved. All of this is being measured. It continues to be measured. And we look at that data every day. We continue to try and perfect and move the needle forward. This lady turned 100 years old. She's since passed, but she was living and growing and thriving. She had, on her 100th birthday, requested 3 things. She wanted a margarita, she wanted a cigarette, and she wanted the little dog, Tupac, that belonged to one of the caregivers, to join her for a birthday celebration. And they made it happen. Now, there might be some rules sometimes about alcohol, about smoking, but we worked it out. This organization worked it out. They made it happen. I would say that's making sure that choice, autonomy, and control are in the hands of elders. And this shouldn't be a one-time story. This should be what happens every single day for our elders, where we place decisions about what they want in their hands. And then we have those that are surrounding them make it happen. Those are good care partnerships. That is a life worth living. That's when there's purpose and there's joy. And I would say that's real home. If it can happen in your home, it should be happening where elders live, even though they need more care. It can happen. I thank you for the opportunity to be here, to share our vision, and I hope to be back helping you build greenhouse homes across this island. I'll take questions. There's a question in the back.
Hi. I was reading in the book, the annual report, that you've already made a commitment with Age Concern to bring a pilot scheme to Bermuda. Maybe Sue or yourself could comment on where you are with that plan?
Well, I'll speak to my perspective. This is our first trip here. We've been talking with Age Concern about what's possible. And I think that this trip this week is really exploratory in understanding what is already working, what kind of systems are in place, and understanding what those challenges are so that we can come back and we can strategize together. I think that it's important that we hear from stakeholders across the island about what's important to them, and also look at, from a public and a private standpoint, what works for Bermuda. This model, like I said, has been rather perfected in the United States, and yet Bermuda is a different culture in different ways. So we're here to learn and then strategize about what's next. Is there anything you would add?
I guess I want to acknowledge the Green Group. I know some are here. We have Roderick Petty and Dawn Zul, who is the founder, and Richard Harrison. Richard is somewhere. There he is. Yeah, we have been working with the Green Group to get a better understanding of the greenhouse, and they've invested quite a bit in learning about this model, because this is not our business. So we need people on the ground who understand the greenhouse concept. And we are committed to bring the concept to Bermuda, whatever that means. So we're still in the exploratory phase. The ideal would be to have applied it yesterday, as I said in the paper, but we're looking for like-minded community stakeholders who want to do the same thing. So we're in that process and in that journey and exploring with greenhouse as well.
Other questions? Just one here. She's got a microphone for you.
You know, when I was 19, I'm 73, so it was a long time ago. I met at my second internship who's someone who's become a lifelong friend, and she had cerebral palsy. And so many years later, she's been part of our life for a long time. Many, many years later, she was in a position where she no longer really walked very well. I met her when she used crutches. And I travel, I work with the poor, so I'm all over different countries. And so I made a commitment, and so I'm in Pennsylvania at least 2 or 3 times a year, and I visit her. And it's really strange. She graduated from an apartment, went into what they called personal care, and she was really quite... And so now they've moved her to the final stage. And she called me last year, I saw her last year, and she said, I want out. And I said, what do you mean you want out? Because she's been to Bermuda, but what do you mean you want out? I've got 2 children, 3 grandchildren, I'm never in Bermuda an awful lot, and what do you mean you want out? She says, I want out. And I'm getting emotional. And I chose that center for her. 17 years ago, I went all over the place and looked at homes. I was appalled. I was so appalled. And I said, thank the Lord I live in Bermuda. I never will face this. At least I don't think so. Let's put it that way. And I finally found a home that was the best that I could find. And she's been there 17 years. And she's gone through the process of now she's in the final. But she wants out. Her brain is brilliant, I mean, it has nothing to do with her. And she's in a place where there are 50 people nodding in wheelchairs. 50 of them. And I go there, and I look at them, and she is appalled. Some of them can't speak, some of them, and she feels institutionalized. And my background, I go to all these countries, and I go to homes and hospitals and so on. So this is like God's timing. I'm supposed to be in Ghana right now, but I've been looking for you and your process. I mean, really, I'm pulling an investment group together to do just this. And I can't believe that I got ill and ended up in the hospital, so I'm here today, and so I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased that you've been looking. I can't impress upon you, I don't know how many of you have people in homes today. I know that my mom, Muriel Dismond, she was the one who said, don't ever put me in a nursing home. And luckily we had the finances to make sure she never ever went. But today our young people are so busy. I mean, our young people have 10 times lives. They're busy. They can't take care of us. I'm blessed. I have a house, and already my 2 girls have decided that we're all going to live in this house. My 2 sisters, my husband and I, and they know where the nurse is going to be. They know where everything is going to be, and we've already picked out our rooms because it's my house right now. But they're already thinking about what's going to happen because they know we don't want to go into a nurse home. So we were going to carve a little one like you're talking about. I am so pleased because we as Bermudians are so special, and you become more special as I go into Africa and Honduras and Brazil and so on. You deserve what you're talking, and I'll work with you. I'm going off next week, but I will work with you because it has to be a reality. Okay, thank you.
Other comments or questions in the back?
Yeah, I've just spoken to the gentleman beside me, and I understand that these homes can be privately owned. Who's going to monitor how the owners of these homes deal with the residents and the costs and things of that nature? Because quite often I find that people that have homes today, they go in it for the right reasons, but end up doing the wrong things and using the money that they're getting, instead of caring for their elders, are using them for their own personal use. And it's so unfair. And unfortunately in Bermuda, yes, the lady mentioned that our children are very busy today, but our children are not taking the time that they need to spend with their elders. And if you're an elder here today and you can arrange what you need to arrange for yourself, then I suggest by all means that they do that. Because the kids today, and not all of them, but a lot of them, will put their parents in a home and not even visit. It's very, very sad. I see it all the time.
So I can speak to part of that. I think there will be a place for age concern, possibly. Whomever Greenhouse begins to collaborate with as the partner. And it may be somewhat with the government too, I'm not sure yet. That'll have to be defined. What I can tell you is when it comes to the standards, Greenhouse has a vested stake in this. And we have 26 quality standards that we convey a trademark to whoever is the owner or co-owner, partner in this process. Those standards must be upheld. We do measure and monitor those with site visits. So someone like me would be here and checking back and forth. But we also do it by collecting data. And there are data set points that we are looking at to measure quality of life and quality of care for every organization. And it's very important for us from our brand that if we're going to convey a trademark, that certain standards be held. So that's how we interact with those that we partner with.
And I want to add that we are making progress in the regulatory side. I just want to acknowledge, if she doesn't mind, Sarah D'Alessio. Sarah, if you could stand, who's here, and she's the policy analyst for the Bermuda government working in the Ministry of Health. And Sarah has just successfully completed the Code of Practice, which I think is officially the regulations. And we are moving toward a better place. And we certainly work in partnership with Sarah and the team over there through the Bermuda National Standards Committee, of which our own Susan is a part, in trying to raise the standards. But when you talk about family, that's a cultural thing that we've all got to be a part of. And when we just leave, when we just leave our seniors in these homes in which we're not happy, we're all a part of that. We've got to change the culture that says, you know what, this is enough. We're going to collectively come together with a voice. We have an idea. We're not saying greenhouse is a panacea, because it's not necessarily a panacea, but it certainly points the way on how we can do things better. And we're going to need you to help to change the culture that says what we currently have is enough, because it isn't.
I can get there quicker.
Hi. One of the things that I think speaks as well to answering this question, and we've spent a lot of time with the Queen Group researching and investigating, but actually physically being in houses. We've been in, I don't know how many houses now, but one of the key points as well about the improvement in the quality of everything is also the improvement of the quality of the life of the caregivers. And that starts to really marry the regulations, the physical space, and the happiness of not only the seniors and the quality of their life, but the quality and the additional training, the empowerment and the support for those individuals, those caregivers that have direct care. Really 4 times are the statistics, 4 times more direct care to the seniors. Those caregivers are also feeling much more empowered and much better cared for. So that kind of speaks to the full circle of what a product like this can bring to the entire community. And, and then of course the homes are open. Families feel much more welcome. When you saw in the photograph where the child is coming in, there are some wonderful stories, and every story makes you want to cry. But a great story of a lady that went into care at the age of 52, and clinical, tile floors, and no family visiting, because the young grandchildren were scared of the environment. And what happened when she was moved into a place like this, her life improved. The caregivers had direct empowerment to support her wishes, which, by the way, hers is to jump out of airplanes. She is in a wheelchair. She's now, 20 years later, I think 72, and I'm not kidding you, she's jumping out of airplanes. And her grandkids and her family come to visit every week. And that is the change that took place in that one individual's life. And I believe that's the change that we can start to bring here. And yes, we want to encourage our children. That's a whole nother conversation, away from video games and all sorts, and back into the lives of ourselves and our seniors and the youngsters. But I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn.
Yes, good afternoon. I really like the idea of this greenhouse project. Myself, I couldn't see myself in an institution. I only have one son, and I think my grandchildren probably would not return to Bermuda, so that would leave the stress on him. But yesterday I was talking with a friend in Florida. She lives here in Bermuda, and her mom lives in Florida. Her mother will be 90 next month. And she was really frustrated because she's trying to sort out her mother's affairs, and her mother's going to need more care. So I was just wondering, with this project, whether or not you have reached Florida, and if so, what is the criteria for admission into these places, and the fees? Would the state assist with covering the fees? And if you can give me some sort of idea what the fees would be, if they have to pay it themselves, please. Thank you.
So we are in 34 states across the United States. We do have 2 greenhouse homes in Florida, one in Pompano Beach and one in Jacksonville. Every organization has their own, what we would call admission criteria. The model is rather versatile. So there are some greenhouse homes that focus on rehabilitation. There are others that might focus on assisted living, others long-term care. The homes that Dawn was speaking of, they have a home for people living with ALS, multiple sclerosis. So every partner really identifies what is their market niche and what will they choose to provide. Some choose to provide a specialty in memory care. So I would be happy to talk with you and give you some contact information for Florida. About the fees. When the greenhouse homes first started an opening, they were primarily privately funded in that they would put aside a certain amount of money as an endowment to take care of those that might run out of funds. It took really a private type approach in order to start proving this. What we find today, and this is the way the United States model works, is that about 50% of the people living in greenhouse homes privately fund their cost of care there. The other 50% are doing that with a combination of government-supported funds. And that's the way the system works in the United States. What we are really striving to accomplish is that this is an affordable model for all. It will look different in Bermuda than it looks in the United States because your government funding and private funding is different. But it is an affordable model. It's just going to take creative approaches, and it's not just about building costs. It's about how you choose to operationalize this and keep the operational efficiencies in place by not having the same level of overhead. So you've asked a question that probably we could sit down and talk about for a few hours. But that's the high level answer, and I'd be happy to talk with you afterwards. Other questions? All right, I think that's it. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have had the opportunity to experience a great meeting. I always marvel at age concern AGMs. Having been involved in the community in many areas in many ways, I have never seen AGM so well attended. I've seen times when they have a hard time getting a quorum. But this meeting is always well attended, and I think it's because people realize that this is something that we all will face one way or the other, either for ourselves or for our family, and it's good that you come out to support us. We thank you for all that you do. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't thank, of course, our speaker for today, Ms. Deborah, how you pronounce that? Wiegand? I got to say it close, real tight, fast. And of course, we always like to give our kudos to our executive director, who actually, she really carries a wit. We don't see it, but but you can just let your imagination go. And she doesn't really ask you things, she just kind of tells you, you know. And she has to understand the majority of people she's dealing with are older than she is, but that doesn't make any difference. So I was told I had to give the vote of thanks, and what am I doing? Giving the vote of thanks. So we thank you for, okay, we thank you for coming, and of course, will be having refreshments after our meeting, and we do have a small presentation to make. Debbie, if you just accept this on behalf of Age Concern. Thank you. We certainly admire your enthusiasm, and obviously it shows your belief in this project comes through in your action and in your voice. And we just want to thank you for coming and let you know that we certainly appreciate you and what you're doing and what you will be doing for Bermuda.
Thank you so much.
We want to acknowledge, earlier on we made a presentation to Trott and Duncan, and neither Mr. Trott or Mr. Duncan were here at the time, but we're happy that Mr. Trott did find time to come and visit. Just stand and be acknowledged. This is Mr. Trott, Harry Trott from Trott and Duncan, and yes, okay, we're going to arrange a photo. Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. Did you take this one? We have to have a commercial, you know. I mean, you know, what's a meeting? You know, we didn't charge you to come here, so we have to have a commercial to help pay for this. And the commercial is simply this. There's a tag day for Age Concern tomorrow and Saturday. So you can call the office if you have time to volunteer for at least an hour. I'm getting, see, she's just giving me this information. There's a sign-up sheet in the back. Is there anything else? There's a sign-up sheet in the back, so you can do that. And if you're not sure if you can make it, and you find you can, please call the office, and I'm sure they'll find a spot for you to assist in our Tag Day, which is one of our fundraisers. And we like to have fun at our fundraisers, and this means in order to minimize the stress, we have to have a number of people who are doing it. All right. So we want to, again, thank you. Is there anything else? Do you have a question?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, somebody? Yes?
Just a minute.
What a wonderful idea. If you cannot make the tag day, you are not going to be in place tomorrow. We've had from one of our members the great suggestion that you can leave your donation today. I'm sure the ladies on the back will find something that we can use. We're in a church, so I know they've got some kind of basket or... so I see some baskets from here, yes. You can give your offering as you're leaving. All right, we'd like to close the meeting, and we're just going to ask God's blessing on the refreshments. We don't want anybody getting choked up or anything. So, Heavenly Father, we ask that you will bless this meal that we are about to receive, may be nourishing to our bodies. For Christ's sake we pray. Amen. Thank you again for coming. Look forward to seeing you during the year, and of course again next year at the AJM. And as we always say when we're signing off our broadcast, make your olden years your golden years. God bless.